Thank you so much, Jordan, for joining me today on this week's episode of Wisdom Wednesdays.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you having me. I'm excited to get some questions answered and hopefully help some people out there.
So I'm going to start off just by introducing. I just watched a video that Greg posted maybe I think 2 months ago or 3 months ago, and just like gave some stats on pieces of the business that you've had major success from, especially because of this new influencer division from NFM Lending. And so he said in the last 12 months, you closed 150 units for 47 million. That's absolutely incredible, first of all. And he was saying that huge testament to you as a loan officer as well, and being the VP of the influencer division at NFM. I mean, people obviously trust you. You're building that rapport with the people that are on social media. And so that's a huge testament to you and your business. And all that being said, you just had a baby.
I did. Yeah, she is 8 months old. Yeah.
Um, Sweet. I have a 9-month-old, so I can
Okay.
relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So fun. I know it's so fun to try and figure out that. I know everybody says the work-life balance of becoming a new mom. Is this your first?
Yeah, she is. How about you?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
first. So it's been
It's
really
that
fun.
balancing act.
Yeah, it's been really fun trying to figure out how to not have the mom guilt when you have to travel, or because my job requires me to travel a lot. And so I've been gone a few times, and I have a great husband who comes in and picks up the slack, obviously, when I'm gone. But it's really hard being a new mom and trying to figure all of that out when you have such a great career.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. There's the easier days and the harder days, and you just kind of have to find a balance wherever you can.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I would love to dive in a little bit. I would love to have you kind of introduce a little bit more about how you got into your current role. And if there's anything else you would like to share just on kind of like how you got started with the social media aspect of it.
Yeah, so I moved over to NFM in April of 2022. So been there a little over a year and a half. And I had started on social media before then. I started October of 2021, and I started to have a pretty good following and leads that were coming through. And it was very difficult to try to figure out how to manage all of that because I only had a few states that I personally was licensed in, and trying to find loan officers, within my company that could help me in the other states. And it was really difficult. And Greg had reached out to me and said, we would love to have you come over. And we have this influencer division we had started, and we have a great team and back system that we built out to really help with the lead flow, so that you aren't spending, crazy amount of hours trying to figure out who these should go to. And so after many, many months of going back and forth, we finally came to an agreement, and I moved over here, and I'm so, so grateful. It's probably one of the top three best decisions that I've made in my career to transition to NFM, because of the support and really the systems that they built out. There's no other mortgage company that has, an influencer division and has kind of the systems that the team has made. So it's quite crazy. But yeah, transitioned over here, and it's been really amazing. And then May of this year, 2023, they promoted me up to vice president of the influencer division. So that's been really wonderful. And we have a great team of influencers, and then we have a great back team that helps with support, because there's only so many states that we can each carry, or else we'd be working crazy hours. So yeah, that's kind of where the team has gone. And as for my business, like I said, I carry 7 states now. So I personally do the loans in those states. And then the other ones, across the US, we have our back team that helps out. Then we kind of split up the states between them. So everyone kind of gets an even distribution of the leads, and they help, and we're still hands-on with them and support them throughout the process. And so at that point, I've been able to close well over for this year. So if we're looking at a calendar year, we as a team under, the leads from us have closed over 100 units from social media alone, which has been crazy. You think in this, the market that we're in, hasn't been an easy one this year. And I'm on track to have personally my best year in the business. And I started back in 2019 before the crazy refi boom and interest rates. So to say that social media has changed, my career is very much an understatement, because without it, there's no way I would be able to carry the numbers that I do currently. And I would say probably about 70% of my business, if not a little bit more, comes solely from social media now at this point.
That's pretty incredible. Those numbers are amazing, especially in the market that we're in. And it really goes to show that if you can be creative and persistent and know where to go to get the leads and really bond with the borrowers that are coming to you, like it really matters. And so I would love to ask, going back a little bit to this influencer division. I know I heard a little bit, and I saw some things on LinkedIn about what this is. And I think I just saw that it's now the Creator Collective. Is that what it's called? The Creator.
Yeah. So we rebranded it just because one is we have other individuals outside of the team that we partner with. So real estate agents that, have a large following that don't know kind of where to put the leads and how to, help them and sort through them. So we bring on outside individuals that aren't hired through NFM, or work, I should say, through NFM directly, and just kind of rebranding it to be able to reach some more individuals. And a lot of us don't love the term influencer, so we wanted to kind of rebrand that as well, because telling people, oh, influencer, I'm always like, I'm a content creator, or not necessarily an influencer, because I feel like influencer gets such a bad rep. So we decided to rebrand. So we just launched that the other day.
I love the Creator. I think that's a great rebrand. MBA's Impact Community, which is the Young Professionals Networking Group. I would love to ask, maybe from that perspective and from like a young professional perspective, how not only, the testament to you of seeing how much your business has grown solely based on social media. Like obviously the numbers can speak for themselves. But what's like the number one thing you would say for somebody maybe just getting started in their career of how to get started on social media and how to keep going or coming up with creative content in order to kind of build out that library of really good content that you see on your page?
Yeah, so first and foremost, being authentic. Like that is so important, because you are trying to connect with somebody on the other side of a phone that you probably will never meet, especially if you're licensed in multiple states like I am. And you want to build that connection with them. So when they call you on the phone, they aren't like, oh, this doesn't sound like you, or, your demeanor is different, or your personality is different. You want that to transition throughout the entire process. So being authentic on camera is so very important. It's an extension of yourself. It's you're branding yourself. And so you want people, yes, to like you and love you and enjoy what you're saying and your content. But you want to make sure that it is truly you that you're putting out there. So that's always the most important thing. And then kind of getting into it, there's a number of ways that you can jump into it. I mean, majority of my followers sit on TikTok, so that's kind of where I've leaned towards when I talk to different agents and loan officers about kind of where to go. But really just starting, whether it's Instagram or just kind of picking a platform and searching for other content creators that are in your niche. So searching just mortgage or mortgage lender, first time home buyer, real estate, and you will very easily find different individuals, whatever platform again that you choose to go with, that are making content out there. And searching and then finding out who you kind of like, whether it's the way they tell their stories or the way they film, or maybe if they have like a catch line and you want to try to play off of that and make one for yourself. But researching and then following these people and watching how they put content out and maybe how consistent they put that out, and what they talk about, whether it's storytelling or news articles or PSAs or just kind of the basics of home buying, and finding a way to make that for your own. So you never want to completely copy somebody and, how they, the video word for word and the way they film and all of that, but taking little bits from different creators and then finding a way to make it true to who you are is going to be very important and probably one of the first things to do. And then when it comes to finding the content, there's so many, again, you kind of really have to sit and figure out how you want to present yourself. But just some like easy things to think about would be askthepublic.com. And if you search mortgage or real estate or anything like that, it will show you the top Google searches of what people are asking in that field. So what is earnest money, or what is due diligence, or how can you qualify for down payment assistance? And so right there, it's free. I know you can pay, there's a upgraded version, but I still use the free version, and you can search and find so many questions on there. And right there, you just have a library of content that you can make. And another thing would be going on the Google or whatever search engine you use and searching real estate news or mortgage news, and there's so many news articles between interest rates going up and now going down, and the Fed meeting and not raising the rates, and the NAR lawsuit. There's so many things that are out there, and if you want to make it specific to mortgage news in California or Texas or wherever you're located, and again, it's all done for you. It's the research is there. The article's already written. All you have to do is kind of read through it and make it into your own. So those are two pretty straightforward places where you can find content. And at the end of the day, you just have to figure out how you want to present it. But those are probably the two easiest ways to find it and get kind of like your starting point.
That's so good to know. I had no idea about that website. So I'm definitely going to be checking that out. I am trying to build a little bit of a social media, not following, because I don't necessarily care about the followers just on my end, at least like personally, but professionally on LinkedIn, I feel like I'm trying to like get more content out there, especially being kind of the new face of the residential impact group, and it's a brand new like side of the young professionals group with MBA. And so I'm really trying to like do more on LinkedIn with like videos, and sometimes it's hard for me to come up with like the content that's like specific to that type of information.
Yeah.
But that being said too, like I think I'm gonna like start to go on like some of the sites that you just mentioned, and kind of see if I can tie in some of those of like what young professionals care about and why they care about certain things, or why they should care about some things. So yeah, that's really good. One thing that I wanted to go back on, because you said like when you're looking at other creators and watching what they do or how often they do it, is there like a formula that you follow specifically for like posting a call to action or a PSA or just like a funny video or something like that? Like, is there like a weekly like structure or anything that like people can follow along those lines?
Um, there is not a one size fits all formula, unfortunately. So it does take some trial and error. Um, even to this, we have weekly meetings with the team, with the creators, and we're like, what are you seeing works for you? And we'll notice like, my videos that'll get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views on TikTok, they'll flop on YouTube. They just don't do well. And so sometimes they'll do good on Facebook. They do okay on Instagram. It's like because I like to repurpose. You don't have to recreate new content for each platform necessarily. But when I try to repurpose it, I've realized that there are certain types of videos. And again, it's just a trial and error thing. And every content creator is different. So for instance, we have like Scott Bentley's on our team, and he tends to do more, because this is how he started, was more with the trending sounds. And he'll be in the video and he'll make it to where it's specific to his mortgage niche, but he'll put text on the video and then use that trending sound, and sometimes he won't talk. And so that's a lot of the videos he makes, and he does some talking and news articles and things like that. Whereas if you go to mine, I can't do videos like that, because if I do, they normally flop. That's not what people come to my channel for, or my profile. They come to me to watch the funny reenactment videos, or to get like the true news articles or the storytelling. So that's what they are coming to my platform for. So I think it's really important to try to figure out what you want to put out there, and then just testing it, because I've my phone calls and I've tweaked them as the years have gone on. I used to do PSAs, and now they did fine, but it wasn't something that did great. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll just do those once in a blue moon. I know for me, the trending sounds generally don't do well. So I tend to do those maybe like once a month. I'll throw one in there for fun. And then when it comes to posting, when I started, I did 3 times a day, and then it moved down to 2 times a day, and then once a day. And then I've like kind of moved back and forth. And again, it's just something I've seen what works for the views and kind of pushing it out. Because we want to make content that gets to people. It's not necessarily about the views and, how much interaction is it getting, but at the same time it kind of is, because we want to make sure that we're pushing it to people and the right people are watching the videos. So I've learned, for me personally, Monday through Thursday I post. Saturday and Sunday I don't ever post. It just doesn't get to enough people to where it's worth me putting something out there. And Fridays, because people are so, they're ready to get off work and start their weekend. If I do post on a Friday, it's normally first thing in the morning, so that hopefully enough people watch it on like their lunch break, or, whatever breaks they have during their workday. And it's normally more a shorter video or more lighthearted. Maybe it's a sound or something like that. But I tend to post the heavier videos or the longer videos Monday through Thursday. And it's just something, again, that I've noticed with views and things like that have worked for me when it comes to, TikTok. So yeah, that's kind of, you just have to kind of play with it and see. But when it comes to posting and starting off, I would say just finding consistency. So like I said, I started with 3 a day, but I had a really big lofty goal. I really wanted to push what I was putting out there. But if consistency to you is every Monday or every Monday and Wednesday, time block it on your calendar and make sure you post something, because if you post a video and then you don't post for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then you just fall off. If you have a great one and it goes viral or gets a lot of traction, and then you just don't post, your profile isn't going to get pushed out. And if your goal is to educate and help people and hopefully get some sort of business in return, you need to stay in front of people. Just like when you get a lead, from an agent, and they say, hey, Jordan, I need you to call John Smith, and you call John Smith once and then you never call him again. You're like, oh, I just called him once, he never called me back. You have to have some sort of follow up with that and be consistent. So yeah, just finding some sort of consistency that works for you.
I've heard you mention like a couple different like key terms on like what specific videos are, and I am like barely scratching the surface on like editing a video or making like it's a lot of like Zoom editing, and so I feel like I'm good at that because I've started like these types of videos, but like not necessarily for social. Is there a place you went to like get really good at making these videos, or like cutting them or editing them or putting the sound on? Like how did you learn all of that?
So, TikTok is really great because most of the videos are shorter when they're explaining, and so there's so much on there. And you can do this on YouTube as well. Those are going to be the two main places you'll want to search this. But still to this day, I'll be like, how do you put a video in a video on CapCut? And somebody will literally screen record, and they'll show you, go and you click this and you click that. And so um, I've researched a lot of people, and like I said, I tend to do the same types of videos. So I'll do what's considered like a green screen. So kind of like how you have your setup behind you. So I will have if I do my reenactment phone calls, I just use the green screen filter on TikTok, CapCut. And if you're not familiar with it, you guys can download it. I know it's on Android and iPhone, but CapCut, there's a free version of it. And there's so many people that have full CapCut like profile. All they do is teach you like the secrets and the tricks on how to use CapCut, because it's a great video editor and it's right on your phone. But I use green screen. So I use that for news articles when I talk about them. And then I use it for the reenactment phone calls. And that was just something where, again, I researched and then I was like, okay, let's try it. Let's play with it. Okay. All right. Got it. That's how you edit here. And you kind of clip this part. So there's so many people that put the information out there. And so I was just watching and researching and kind of seeing where, they had that information. And then I was like, okay, I can do this. I can film a video this way and I can clip it or edit it this way. And so just going on, YouTube or TikTok, because I feel like when you watch a video and you see somebody physically doing it, it's so much easier than when you read an article and it's like, okay, go to settings and then click the plus sign and then click here. And you're like, can you just show me? Like, I just want to match up my phone to what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I feel like this has just been a wealth of knowledge. I'm definitely going to be researching how to make my videos much better because I am like, again, very basic level, scratching the surface. I think I like just learned how to like do the cutting and all the like an intro. Like I figured out how to do intros and outros, and but that's like the extent of everything that I've figured out. So I would love to learn more. So I'm definitely going to be researching. But I appreciate all of your knowledge. I think this has been super informative. Is there anything else that you'd like to share or any questions that you have for me?
I would just like to leave everybody with, you know, you got into whatever business you're in. Let's say you're a loan officer or a processor, and you were probably scared to get into it because you didn't know the business and you had to learn, and whether it was from a mentor or reading or just trial and error, you had to learn, the business that you're currently in. And I know social media, kind of for most people that I talk to, it feels super overwhelming, but just remember that you were able to get to this point in your career. So, and at some point you were super scared and you had no idea what you were doing, and you're probably very good at it now. And so look at the same thing when it comes to social media. Yes, it may be daunting and scary and you don't know anything about it. But just take it day by day and just little by little and see how much you can learn as time goes on. And you will very easily accumulate so much knowledge to where you are like, okay, I got this now. Like I started with my assistant's 9-year-old taught me how to film a TikTok. So if I am now over 250,000 followers on my platforms from a 9-year-old teaching me how to film a TikTok and edit it, I promise you, you guys can do it because there are so many people now that can just show you on these platforms how to film and edit videos.
You don't need your 9-year-old to do it. That's great.
No, you don't. You don't. But yeah, so I'm super excited to kind of watch your editing skills continue to grow and see how you utilize those. And hopefully people that are watching take this as a sign to really get into it, especially if they've been on the fence, and hopefully can jump into this and start building from it, and hopefully get, you know, some leads out of it, and help some people purchase homes and get through the home buying process.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jordan. This has been really fun. I really appreciate your time, and it's been a blast. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
of course. I appreciate your time as well. Thanks for having me.